Today's episode is generously supported by Yumiko. Yumiko has just launched their newest leotard style, the Masha. The Masha mesh leotard features a deep mock wrap back and a feminine V front neckline. It is now available in any color and with any sleeve length, online or in the New York store. Want one now? The Yumiko New York shop has over a dozen options available to purchase today. So don't delay, get into classes and rehearsals in your new Masha leotard. Last week, we conducted a giveaway in partnership with Yumiko on our Instagram account, and we will be announcing the winner on our Instagram story tomorrow. For more opportunities to win in the future, follow at Conversations on Dance, at Yumiko, and at Yumiko World. This episode is brought to you by the town of Vail, an important partner in the Vail Dance Festival. I'm Rebecca King-Ferraro.
And I'm Michael Breeden, and you're listening to Conversations on Dance. The Vail Dance Festival has announced their dates for their 2019 festival, and to celebrate, we are diving into our archives from our time last year at the festival. Today, we are joined by festival favorite Herman Cornejo. Herman was born in Argentina and began his ballet studies at the age of 8. At the age of 14, he attended the School of American Ballet, and upon returning home, he joined Ballet Argentino under the direction of Julio Bocca. In 1999, he joined American Ballet Theatre, where he was later promoted to soloist in 2000 and to principal dancer in 2003. Cornejo has performed as a guest artist with numerous companies around the world, including La Scala Ballet, Universal Ballet of Korea, National Ballet of Japan, Kremlin Ballet, New York City Ballet, Boston Ballet, and many others. We talked to Herman about his time as a young dancer being mentored by Julio Bocca, what his early years were like at American Ballet Theatre, and what keeps bringing him back to the Vail Dance Festival. So thank you so much for joining us. You have a crazy schedule here at Vail. We saw you dance one of the most challenging things maybe ever. It's a suite of dances. Was it that last night?
Last night.
It's all
Yeah.
last night.
It's all-
I remember it was last night.
I'm sure
My
your body
body
remembers.
remembers.
Yeah.
So, and yet here you are coming to talk to us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank
No,
you.
it's my pleasure.
You were great last night, by the way. It was
Oh,
so
my God.
wonderful.
Thank you. It's one of those pieces that they become a highlight in your career.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel when you're dancing it. It's really a masterpiece.
Yeah, it really is. It's unbelievable. I hadn't seen it before, so I kept going like, wait, there's more? How could he possibly do more? It was great.
Yeah. We'll go back to the beginning.
We will.
normally start at the beginning,
We
but
will.
I like
Sorry.
this train of thought.
It just
'cause
seemed natural.
But in terms of stamina, that is such a beast. Well, how does that compare to other things? What are your top stamina ballets?
Well, I have to say the one we just did of Alexei Radmansky, Simple Serenade, it was very challenging because it's one of those pieces that you died at sea level.
Mm-hmm.
And we were concerned to do it up here in the altitude. It turned out great, but I think that was, I will say, one of the most challenging pieces I have done at Vail Festival.
Right.
Wow. And how long did you have to adjust? Like, when did you get into town and then perform them?
Before Serenade, 2 days, and it's not enough.
Yeah.
As
not
we
enough.
know, we sit here in our studio, and we know 2 days isn't enough to adjust to like walking upstairs.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
We'll come back to Vail
Yeah.
later,
Mhm.
but let's go rewind to the very beginning. How did you get your start in dance? What first interested you in ballet?
I started with ice skating and roller skating
Oh,
down
wow.
in Argentina, which is quite weird. My sister started when she was 3 years old.
Mhm.
And but when I decided to do ice skating, my parents were like, a bit in the shock because they took me to a club to choose from kung fu to soccer, and I love soccer. But for some reason, I felt that my body needed to move in a different way already when I was 6 years old, which is
Wow.
very strange.
Yeah.
And then at 8 years old, I decided to start ballet, and possibly because of my sister.
Mm-hmm.
That's so interesting that you had that awareness of how you needed your body to move at that time.
Yeah,
Wow.
It's very strange now that I think back. Even when I started ballet at 8, I was so focused. It was almost like I wanted to do that for life.
You knew
right.
just right away.
It's very weird to see, a little kid at 8 years old taking class in the morning, going to school, regular school in the afternoon, and then going back to take another class in the evening. And that's what I did when I was 8 years old.
Did you drop ice skating at that point, or were you doing both for a period of
No,
time?
I only did it for 2 years,
Okay.
6 to 8. And then at 8, I started ballet.
Right.
Wow. So did you initially start it to contribute to your ice skating, or you just knew you were done
You were
with ice
switching.
skating?
Yeah, no, I was done.
Yeah.
I was switching. I loved the atmosphere in the studio, the piano. But I think the fact that my sister was there, it made me decide.
Want to be a part of
nice.
it, sure.
So you dove in head first and you were very focused right away. What was your training like that ended up leading you to the US?
Well, I have to say that the Argentinian school, it's very wide. And I think that was the key for many dancers. There are right now many Argentinian principals in different companies. And it's due to the school that is not one style. You train in Baganova style, but then you have like Bournonville style. And my teachers came to America very often to check on the new things. And they actually brought me when I was 14 to the SAB school. I did the summer program with Stanley William.
I was wondering if Stanley was
And that was just a highlight in my study years.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Did that give you a taste of wanting to be in the US at that point? Do you think that's...
so. I mean, that was just the first step. The school wanted me to stay. They looked for a school and everything for me. But at that time, Julio Bocca asked me to join his company, youth company in Argentina. So I decided to join the company instead of being in school.
So that was at what age? At
14.
14?
Yes.
Wow. So you obviously trained in these very classical techniques in Argentina. And when you went to SAB with Stanley, you were doing something completely different. You're obviously so aware of your body. Was that something you were like, ooh, this feels good, this is interesting? Or did you kind of immediately know that maybe wasn't the way you wanted to go stylistically?
No, I really liked it. It gave me a sense of, I don't know, it was more clean. But in a different way, I can't explain it. It's everything on your toes most. That sensation. And I really liked it. And I also started to take class with Willy Burman. And he's, my teacher since I'm 14 years old.
Yeah.
So, and it was Julio Bocca's teacher as well.
Yes.
And I knew American Ballet Theatre through Julio Bocca. So my goal in a way was to join this amazing company.
Right. So what was it like having Julio sort of as a mentor figure at that age? At that point, he's one of the greatest male dancers on the planet. So was he a sort of idol for you?
Definitely. I mean, I joined his company when I was 14, and he taught me how disciplined you need to be in this career and to succeed in this career. It's not all about talent. And, he was my mentor in a way. We did a tour going through all 5 continents in 2 years.
That's amazing.
And to have that at 14, I think it was very, very important.
Yeah. Was there one piece of advice or one thing that he told you that had a particular impact on your career?
Not necessarily. I think that's the greatest thing of Julio, that he would not tell you things. He will show it to you in a way. So in a way, you will learn if you open your eyes. And I watch him take class. I watch him perform. I watch him leave the plane and go into the hotel and stretch and take his class and all that.
Set a good example for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you were just 16 years old, you became the youngest winner of the International Dance Competition in Moscow. What made you decide to compete at that age, and what was that experience like for you?
It was again through Julio. We were performing at the Luna Park, which is a stadium in Argentina. And at the moment, I sprained my ankle, but I was doing the shows anyway. Because you're always 16. I mean, you go through pain, even now. But, and he asked me that, he said, I have this opportunity because of my connection with Moscow and the competition. The competition starts at 18 years old to 24. I know you're only 16, but they're willing to accept you if you would like to go.
Wow.
And I just immediately said yes. I mean, he he did that competition. He won the gold medal. And in a way, I wanted to go through that and experience what it's like to be in an international competition. And, I just trained hard. I never had in my mind, I need to get the gold medal. Right. I just trained hard. And it happened. It was a dream.
Yeah.
Was that something that was intimidating to you, being on that international stage for the first, in that way, with that whole competition atmosphere? Was that intimidating, or were you like, I'm 16, this is awesome?
No, I was, like I said, when I was 8, that I started like knowing this was going to be forever for my life. I went to the competition with the same focus to like just do my best.
Right.
And, but I do have to say those competitions, now that I think back, are very, I don't know what word to use.
Rigorous.
But it's a bit crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in 1998, you joined ABT's studio company. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah. Yes, 98.
So you had already done a lot of traveling internationally, but was there still, that's a big choice to make a move for your career to a new country. Was there still a level of adjustment or culture shock maybe?
No, we didn't go through an adjustment. Probably because I flew with my sister and my mom. So the three of us were, as a family, in New York, and we loved New York. We knew we wanted to be at ABT. But the funny thing here is that I performed so much when I was 14 with Julio that for 2 years, my body received such a shock in a way to be in so many stages and taking that responsibility, because we will do 3 months tour, and halfway of the tour I will replace Julio in some of the performances, and I was only 14, 15, replacing this huge icon of the dance. So when we moved to New York, I kind of decided, my sister, we both auditioned for the company, but I actually took the class. I didn't audition. And we were offered the studio company space, and my sister took it and I didn't, because I said that I wanted to relax for a moment, maybe go back to school and just train instead of performing again.
Sure.
And but the fact that my sister took the contract, 2 weeks later they offered me the contract again, and I was like,
all right.
Yes, of course. And so we did a studio company, but for a very short time. We were there for 6 months and then straight into the main company.
So what were those early years in the main company like for you? What was the sort of feeling of the company at that moment in time?
Amazing. I mean, the principals at that time, it was just incredible. I think there will never be another group like that.
I think 98 was a year that there was a huge article in the New York Times about the men, the ABT principal men. And I remember reading that and that having such an impact, because you had Ethan and Julio and Angel and Jose Carreño and Vladimir. And it's insane.
It's insane. And
so
they
you were
did
coming
all
up
these
with those
videos
guys.
about Born to be Wild, and it was really a nice time for the new dancers that were coming in. Because I remember watching every show, and every show was like amazing.
What kind of impact did they have on you, maybe directly? Did they kind of talk to you and help you through some things?
So much.
Yeah.
I guess because I also arrived in a moment where Howard Gilman was alive, and he had this building for dancers. And again, through Julio, Howard knew me and he fell in love with me, and he offered me this place to stay. And in this building, it was Angel, Jose, and some other dancers, unbelievable. And they all like took me like like the puppy.
That's so sweet. So what were some of the roles that ultimately led to your first promotion to soloist? What were some of the first opportunities you had in the company?
Well, I have to say that what it led me to be principal, it was, and this is what Kevin told me, is to do my soloist role at a level that he didn't see before. So I think, I joined the company as an apprentice, and as an apprentice, I was doing bronze idol. That was my first role.
Right.
And so I guess Kevin saw that quality in these roles that are categorized as soloist roles, but he saw me as a principal, and the only thing that I had to, in a way, fight in the company, it was to be able to do the leading roles because of my height.
Yeah, we were absolutely going to bring that up because.
But I have to say that maybe the role that brought me into the principal category it would be the bronze idol.
Yeah. So right off the bat. Yeah, let's talk about that. You mentioned your height. How was that something that you overcame and showed them, like, I can get into these principal roles?
Yeah, it's a strange concept, I guess, because Kevin Mackenzie as a dancer, he's a very tall dancer. Right. And I guess you have your inclinations. You're inclined to choose tall dancers. So for me, it was a challenge to show him and to prove that with my height, I could lead a company of 90 dancers.
Yeah.
And I was lucky enough that he saw it. He gave me the opportunity to do lead roles. Of course, I started with the Nutcracker.
I saw you in that. Honestly, I remember I saw you at the Kennedy Center. This was actually, I think it was probably the first time I saw a major ballet company, and I came to see Nutcracker, and you were the prince.
Oh,
thank you. Well, yeah, a very long time ago. So I started on that line with the Nutcracker. My second lead role was Coppelia. So he was very gentle in giving me all these opportunities.
Right.
Who were some of the women you were dancing those parts with at the beginning?
Sorry?
Some of the women you were dancing with at the beginning.
It was always Xiomara Reyes. At first, when I was a soloist, I did a few things with Ashley Tidal. And then Xiomara became my partner when Angel left the company. So I partnered Xiomara for like 10 years.
Oh, it's so wonderful to be able to create that connection.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I did almost all my debuts with Xiomara.
Great.
So something that's been commented a lot about your dancing and what makes you so special is that you take to a different style, like a fish to water. You know, you just soak it all in. You love to do Ashton or Cunningham or Balanchine, or at least that's what the audience gets from you.
Yeah, I know, but I love it as well.
Yeah.
I feel it in my body that I like those changes.
Yeah. So let's talk about, let's just take one choreographer, for instance, Cunningham. You did your first Cunningham last year at the festival, right? What about that felt like something that made you tick artistically? How did you kind of let go of the ballet dancer and put yourself into what Cunningham demands?
I guess I have to say that, especially working in scenario, it shocked me and I loved it that you didn't have to dance on the music, that you will use your inner tempo to produce these beautiful moves. And that was something very, very unusual for me because, you know, as a dancer, you always try to be in the music, very musical.
Right.
To work in a piece like this that is also, the movement-wise is very, very different. I not only wanted to get the movement right, but also the feeling for the piece. And to do it without music, it's really a process.
Right. What was that first performance like? Because you had heard it hear the music one time previously, right? You hear it in the dress rehearsal?
Only in the dress rehearsal, which is actually a sound. It's not even a music.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Sound. And
it's like an ocean of sound. Yeah.
And actually makes it so personal. In a way, you don't feel you're performing for an audience. You're doing it for yourself because you really you don't have time frames to finish the solo, to be in a beat. So you almost do it for you and you really feel and understand where your body is at the moment and you continue from there.
Did that give you any sort of anxiety with not hearing the music ahead of time, being so conditioned to listen to the music constantly?
No, probably because Melissa Too Good, she was great in how she taught me this piece, little by little, without throwing all the details at once.
Right.
So she made it, in a way, very easy.
Yeah. Yeah. So you've danced at many fundraisers and charities over the years, including for medical research, for cancer, polio, and Down syndrome. As in demand as you are, how do you continue to make time for these events, and why is that something that's really important for you?
Oh, there's always time. I don't make the time. The time is there to do these things. I just feel I have a gift, and my gift is through the art form to not only perform for an audience that will take them somewhere, but if I can also help a human being to be cured, or to start a treatment to be cured, I think we don't need to forget about that.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
So you've already talked a little bit about one experience at Vail with the Cunningham scenario that you danced. What was that, Friday night?
Friday night.
You dance so
I'm lost
much.
in time.
Yeah.
When I come,
We have no idea
We
what
get
day
lost
it is.
up here.
when I come to Vail, it's just work, perform. We enjoy very much because I think it's one of the best festivals in the world.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of work. I'm lost in time.
Yeah.
Yeah. No idea what day it
So tomorrow you'll be making a debut for another choreographer that you have not danced, except here at Vail, and that's for Justin Peck. So it's not only your first Peck piece, but it's your first piece in sneakers ever.
That's correct.
So tell us a little bit about that experience.
It's fantastic. First of all, meeting Justin Peck. It's strange because I think we were both nervous to meet each other.
is.
And once we met, the chemistry, it's really nice. And I love his how calm he is to create a new piece, especially considering when we started, we had 5 days to the opening. Now we have 1 day to the opening. The piece is finished, so we are happy. But also for me to go into a world where I don't have to point my foot, being in sneakers, it's so different, and I love that. I'm into trying new things.
Yeah.
What about that? Why does that excite you, and how does that affect the other work you do? How does adding Cunningham to your repertoire enrich you in a way that will kind of cross over into everything you do?
Because I think dance it's so big. It's not only doing a full-length ballet. It's not only the classics. There's so much you can express with your body. So to go to different worlds, you also extend your life. Your dance life, it could be infinite when you start this process.
Well, I mean, just look at Misha. He's still creating new work, and you're right. Because again, you can't do Basilio until you're 70, but you can still be a dancer for sure.
In other ways.
And there's time for everything. When I was 14 and I wanted to do the full-length ballet, it was not my time to do the full-length ballet. And now that I'm doing the full-length ballet, when I pass 40, maybe I will think, I don't want to do the full-length anymore.
Yeah. Maybe
So
Cunningham feels right after that.
Not saying that that's easy, but
Right.
it's more gentle in your body.
So what has the process been like working with Justin in terms of collaboration? He's told us on the podcast how much fun he's having working with you and how inspired he is by you. How much give and take has there been between the two of you in the studio?
Oh, I think it's a lot. It's a balance. When he started putting the steps together, he initiates the move and I kind of finish the move.
Awesome.
So he understands where my body rotates and where it wants to fall. So the creation is his creation because he initiated the process. But he's working with my body because I finished that move in a way.
Yeah, that's great.
Who are some of the choreographers? Because you're obviously so hungry for new experiences and different experiences choreographically. Who are a few choreographers that you have not worked with that you would be eager to add to your impressive list?
I think I will say Johnny Meyer, because he takes very deep a character. I think he's more into those storytelling roles, and I would love to work with him.
So in your 20-year career with American Ballet Theatre, you've achieved practically everything. Is there anything that you are looking forward to in your career, that a goal you'd really like to reach?
Well, I would definitely like to direct American Ballet Theatre. I think it's been my house and it's my family. And when I think in the future, I kind of belong there.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be my goal, but that's a very far goal.
Yeah.
For now. I just keep creating and getting the knowledge from different teachers, choreographers, and around the world.
Yeah.
To in the future have a wider view to direct a company.
Right. Do you have any other things that you feel like could lead you up to that? Maybe putting festivals together, anything like that, some sort of administrative things that can help?
I'm trying to create a festival in Argentina.
Wonderful.
Which is nobody knows.
Uh-huh.
So you're the first one.
Wow, breaking news. I love
Conversation on
it.
Dance exclusive.
We love those.
Yeah.
So yes, I
Great.
think that enriches not only a city but a country very, very much.
Yeah. And how much will you tap Damien Wetzel for some help with getting that festival
Well,
together?
he's my mentor.
Yeah.
I have to say, I've been coming here for 8 years, and he has taught me so much.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done so many debuts here through Damien that he became not only my mentor, but in a way, my idol.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How did you begin this working relationship with Damien? You're at ABT. He was at New York City Ballet. How did he cross the plaza, so to speak, to kind of get you in on some of what he was doing?
I just received an email 8 years ago to come and join the festival. And it was just like we knew each other because, of course, we knew each other, but we were not friends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't think we ever crossed in galas or because I was, principal, I think, already when he retired at New York City Ballet. So in a way, Vail was our first connection. And since the first show, he started to call me back for all of the other.
I think you both have a very similar appetite for new experiences and for pushing the envelope, both individually as artists and in a greater picture.
Yeah. Is there one debut in particular that you've made here in Vail that is like most memorable to you?
I have two. One of them was Apollo.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful.
It was one of those pieces that I knew at ABT I would never do because going back to what we talked about before, Kevin preferred tall dancer to perform that role. Mm-hmm. And so when Damien asked me to debut Apollo, it was just, something that it will highlight my career. Mm-hmm. And the second one is Rubies. Mm-hmm. I really love that piece and doing it with Tyler first. And then I did it just a pas de deux with Lauren Lovett. Mm-hmm. It was really remarkable.
It's funny. We just talked to Damien this morning. We had an interview over in the conference room at Manor Vale with Claudia present as well. And what did he cite? Exactly the same thing. Yep. He said Rubies. We talked about how he has these ideas of putting people in things that they would not get the chance to. And he was like, Herman, Rubies, like that's just a no-brainer. So you make it happen. So he feels the same way.
It's a fond memory for him as well.
Oh, that's great. And that's why we connect with them. And I think we think in a way the same, and we have kind of the same taste for things.
Sure. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, it's funny. I think that typecasting, and this is what I love about Damien, I think that he's so, I don't want to say opposed is a really strong word, but that he's more interested in pushing people beyond types. I mean, Edward Villela, same height as you, did Apollo plenty.
Did Rubies.
And so this is like, Balanchine, if it's good enough for Balanchine, I think it's good enough for us.
Yeah.
If he's okay having a shorter person in the ballet, I think that if it works, it works.
Yeah, I think I think in dance in particular, there are waves, not only of, how would you say, ethnicities? Is that?
Emphasis?
Like from different countries or
ethnicities.
But also with heights. Many years ago, Baryshnikov and Villela and Bujones, they were all shorts. And I think this new generation of directors, they're tall and they tend to get the tall ones. So I think there's just waves.
Right.
Like when I joined the company, I remember it was full of Russians. It was the Russian wave. Right. Then in the 2000, it was the Hispanic. We were about 25 Hispanic dancers in the company.
That's a lot.
And right now it's the Asians.
Yeah.
The company has so many Asian dancers. So I think in dance, there's a wave for everything.
Yeah. So that takes us to the end part of our interview. It's called our lightning round. So we're just going to ask you a few questions and you answer with the first thing that comes to mind. No problem.
Short questions.
Don't worry.
Yeah, it's not a quiz. When was Apollo created? No.
Something much more fun, like what is your favorite onstage moment?
Onstage moment. I think I'm going to be very balletic, but when the curtains open and I'm all painted in gold for the bronze idol, I can never recreate that feeling.
Yeah. Well, curtain going up is a great feeling.
Yes.
True.
So what's your dream role that you have not yet danced?
That I have not yet danced would be the Grille in Manon. That's one of my goals for the future.
So Kevin or Damien, if you're listening,
hook
that up.
Yeah. Do you have a dream partner, dead or alive?
Maya Plisetskaya.
Oh, good choice.
Yeah.
For some reason, her energy, it reminds me so much of my sister. And I dance with my sister a lot. Yeah. Really a lot.
Which can jump, for one.
Yes. She can jump higher than me, actually. And so, Maya.
And similar question, but choreographer, dead or alive, you can work with anyone. Who would it be?
I really love Robin's work. Really enjoy every Robin piece that I've done so far.
Have you done any? I'm just totally.
It's okay. There's no rules here.
Yeah. But have you done any of Brown Boy in Dance at a Gathering? That seems like a natural fit.
Yeah. I did dance at the gathering, but I think it was a small version. I did 2 solos.
Well, we got to get it. We could do a Vail Dances at a Gathering.
Oh my gosh.
Damien, hook that up.
With like star-studded?
Yes.
I want that.
You're doing Brown.
Let's do our casting.
Yeah, let's.
No.
Yeah.
Well, that might follow along with our next question now. If you could ask Damien to dance anything next year in Vail, what would it be?
You got me there. I've done so much here.
Yeah.
I think, doing now this suite of dances for me was like the cherry on the top. I really don't know. Probably something on my own, like my own choreography.
Oh.
Which I'm actually doing a tango on Tuesday. That is my own choreography, but it's very short.
Right.
It's a 2-minute long. So possibly.
So now premieres next year. We're going to have choreography by you. Wonderful.
Absolutely. You've extended yourself as an artist in so many ways. I think that seems like a natural next step.
Yeah. I don't see myself as a choreographer though, but I think your body sometimes needs to express as well in different ways.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming out here and talking to us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
We appreciate all of your performances always.
Yes. Oh, so lovely. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you for tuning in this week. If you have not already, we invite you to subscribe to Conversations on Dance Now, wherever you get your podcasts. By subscribing, you will get a notification every Monday when a new episode goes live. This way, you won't miss a moment of the COD action. And if you like what you heard today, we invite you to rate us and review us on iTunes. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next week.